We are in my opinion, we are at the beginning of a very classic late big cycle debt crisis, when the supply-demand gap, when you're producing too much debt, and you have also a shortage of buyers. What's happening now, as we have to sell all this debt, is we then do have enough buyers.
Debt markets, capital markets, this treasury issuance that everybody is now talking about, what it will mean. Are we getting any sense, or is that going to play out over some time, or do we feel like that's already starting to subside as a concern?
Well, people are worried about it. It was on the cover of the Journal this morning.
I know.
But we're not going to know much. So the way this works is clearly that the Treasury has to issue a bunch of debt, as much as $1 trillion, to refill its coffers after the debt ceiling was raised. And so there's going to have to be a lot of demand. And I think there are two outcomes here, David, just to understand this. Either money market funds reallocate and they take up that issuance, or it comes out of bank reserves. And the bank reserves piece is the one that people worry about. It's zero velocity money. What it means is it sucks liquidity out of the system, and we don't know what the balance is. If it comes out of money market funds, it's less of a problem. We're not going to get that data until June 13th from the New York Fed. They post it on their website. They post the RRP balances, which is the money markets on that. And if it comes from that, it's less of a big deal. But it is a headwind facing the banks at the same time where we're seeing QT, where they're letting the balance sheet shrink, at the same time where they're not ruling out another interest rate increase. Even though everyone expects a pause next week, they're leaving July on the table, and now the odds are that they do go in July.
In July.
All about that's headwinds for banks and liquidity.
Which has changed dramatically, really. In just
one central monopolist with another central monopolist, a lot of commercial banks aren't terribly excited about that. Maybe you're going to have to give some ownership. Maybe you'll have to give 50% of your ownership to the 20 banks that are now, part of this. I mean, there are other ways to build incentive systems. Maybe you put a native token in there, and you give them the native token. So there may be other incentive ways to beat the current monopolist. But I, having been around commercial banks for a long time, they really are looking for ways to replace their aggregators. So we already know in the U.S. and in many other jurisdictions that 3/4 of the market are not ICOs, or not what would be called securities. Even in the U.S., Canada, and Taiwan, the 3 jurisdictions that follow something similar to the Howey test that we've talked about, 3/4 of the market is non-securities. It's just a commodity, a cash crypto. So you'll hear debates about initial coin offerings and what's a security and what's not a security. Relevant and important debate, but for 3/4 of the market, it's not particularly relevant as a legal matter.
Going to a different economy, and we're going to be learning more about that as we go. But clearly, we're learning that things can be done from remote locations. We're learning that technology can replace people even more than we thought.
We're not going back to the same economy. We're recovering, but to a different economy, and it'll be one that is more leveraged to technology. And I worry that that is going to make it even more difficult than it was for many workers.
In Silicon Valley, and my friends who work in technology know that what we did to the manufacturing workers, we are now going to do to the retail workers, the call center workers, the fast food workers, the truck drivers, and then even bookkeepers, accountants, insurance agents, lawyers, and on through the economy. So what happened to the manufacturing workers is a very clear sign.
And so we'll import Chinese-based CBDC technology. So it's going to be CBDC in a box provided to you by the People's Bank of China.
Welcome to the Crypto Teacher. And guys, please like and subscribe if you do like what you're listening to. Please inform your friends and family and spread all over social media. It is imperative that we get back to learning finances and understand how the world really works, because once we understand how the world really works, we understand that it is all planned out. Now, I want to thank those who purchased the books Cryptoteacher and the New World Order book. Remember, the New World Order book shows you how the world really works, and it is definitely time for you to wake up out of that sleep especially in the times that we're in right now. Now, guys, I told you in 2023 in the first quarter, we would get an event. And now we have the banking collapse, which the master magicians pulled off the perfect distraction. And at the end of the third quarter, going into the fourth quarter, guys, we're going to have another main event. Now, of course, the markets will still pump and dump until we get that next crisis. Guys, we know they're going to pull that rug. And all we have to do is watch the Fed to know exactly when that's about to happen. And also, guys, I want to thank those who purchased the 3 Kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, much love to those who donate to the Cash App, Patreon. Much love. Keep it coming. Guys, if you're not a part of the Patreon, make sure you're donating to the channel through the actual Cash App. We all know this channel is shadow banned. Now, guys, in my Patreon, I keep you up to date with the New World Order events, and then also I give you the New World Order cryptos. But of course, you have to do your own research. But guys, this next Bitcoin and crypto bull run is going to be a utility run. So you want to make sure you have the cryptos that have real utility. And much love to those who are shopping at both stores. Keep it coming. And of course, guys, we get into Bitcoin and cryptos first.
Don't forget to like and subscribe to the channel.
And guys, we have Bitcoin and crypto pulling back. As I'm doing this video, we are moving up slightly. But don't forget, guys, we have CME opening tonight. We know it's going to move the market. And then, of course, in the morning, once yields start moving, we know it's going to move the market again. Now, we have John Stark, a former SEC chief, wants to get off exchanges. And guys, we know exchanges are nothing but banks, and we know the agenda. They want to consolidate the space. But guys, we already know you don't want any big money on exchanges unless you're trading. You definitely want to hold your own cryptos. Now, guys, do not forget to pay attention to the actual indicators. We had yield rates on Friday were moving up. We have the dollar was moving up. And then, of course, in crypto, we have volume coming back down. And then we have Tether and USDC. Now, we have the G20 economies are worried about stablecoin use, and it could threaten the monetary policy. And guys, again, we know this is the Hegelian dialectic. We know stable coins are nothing but digital fiat. And stable coins give the NWO even more power because they're going to be programmable. And then, of course, guys, we have the Fed. Repo at $2.1 trillion on Friday. And we know the central banks are raising rates and run off the balance sheet. So therefore, they can destroy this legacy market so the fourth industrial revolution can rise. Whether robots, algorithms, and drones take the economy over, pay each other with crypto, and the sheep go inside the metaverse. And guys, we have the Fed Jerome Powell in the house this week. He will be speaking Wednesday on the 14th. And we know most likely they're going to be pausing, and he's going to say they're going to be data dependent. But guys, we know they're going to keep these rates higher for longer so they can destroy this economy. And I'm going to get into that later. But guys, don't forget about Grayscale, sent about $22.6 billion on Friday. Now, getting over into a little crypto news. We have Hong Kong legislator invites Coinbase to the region amid SEC scrutiny. And guys, remember, when you see Hong Kong, it should say China. We know China runs Hong Kong. And remember, China is using Hong Kong as a straw man. And now, all of a sudden, Hong Kong is leading the crypto industry. And then lastly, guys, we have China's big 4 state banks said to cut dollar deposit rates. And guys, we know that's going to force the people into the yuan. And guys, remember, the fall of the United States dollar does not happen overnight. It happens in phases. And now that we have Janet Yellen that has to backfill these funds, we know she has to sell this paper. And majority of these countries don't want to hold this U.S. paper for long because we all know the dollar is about to fall and lose a lot of power globally. And don't forget, guys, we had Israel also start to invest heavily in the yuan last year. So, guys, Bitcoin, cryptos, and stocks are going to take a hit temporarily And then we know the NWO stocks and cryptos start to rise. The same way we're going to see the fall of America to Babylon and the rise of the BRICS nations led by China the Dragon with that digital Yuan backed by that digital SDR. And remember, the crypto teacher told you, because he knows when it comes to the New World Order, it's all planned out. But guys, all I have for you. Don't forget about the books, Crypto Teacher and the New World Order book, plus the 3 kids books. It's time to re-educate. Also, new to cryptos, Coinbase, Bitrue, Binance. Do not forget book links and crypto links are in the description. The stock channel, guys. Don't forget to go like, subscribe, spread everywhere. You have your Kobo, your chip stocks, your banking, your gaming. While everybody's sitting at home, get home stocks, the Seaver, the biotech stocks. And while everybody's at home wishing they were still getting that free money, what are they doing? Drinking and smoking weed. Don't forget about those stocks, and you have a wonderful day. The most powerful person in the world is the storyteller. The storyteller sets the vision, values, and agenda of an entire generation to come. Steve Jobs. And guys, you know I truly believe in this. When you look at the New World Order, they're the storytellers. And that's the reason why I wrote my New World Order book. But guys, now it's time to change the current generation. And I wrote 3 kids books. You know I love the Trinity because I understand the power that's in it. So I have 3 books. We have an opportunity to change the generation, to educate, not just me, but I want to show you that I take action on a daily basis. And I want you to take action on a daily basis. Whether it's your job, whether it's in your community, we have an opportunity right now to educate the masses. I posted this on my Twitter account. Please share, but this is a short clip of the 3 books. There's going to be a clothing line and action figures. Please get these books for your kids, nephews, cousins, friends, so therefore we can start the re-education now. Because as we see, the 4th Industrial Revolution foundation is definitely here. Robots, algorithms, drones, taking humanity out the picture. We have to re-educate. But let's get into the video.
Part 1. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save the village. Part 2. King Joshua and Grandma Tam save New York from COVID Stories 3. Part 3. King Joshua and Grandma Tam goes to China.
It's mandatory to get part 1, part 2, and part 3 of this series. It's time to re-educate Generation Z.